Keyword here being African. If you are from Europe, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, Mars, the moon, you're on Artemis 2, you can go to South Africa. But if you are from another African country, stop. Apparently, we can't hear anything Nigerians are talking. So you can imagine when you are playing in those political rallies and you're playing West African music, you're playing Wizkid. In the president's head, he's just saying, wah, 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 wah. Hakuna kitu anaelewa. Like, he know, chop cassava. Woi, kwani wanakulanga cassava sangapi? Chop banana na watu wanakuanga healthy. Like, he's not understanding nada. Anyway, I just pray that he doesn't ask another president to come to Kenya to chop bananas. Do South Africans hate other Africans? That's the big conversation that's been going down all of last week, and I'm here with all the tea. But first, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the notification, that's why these episodes, you don't know when they come out immediately. You watch them a week later. You better hit that notification. And also share. We want people to have this podcast as their number one podcast. We're working towards our 100K subscription. We want to get that plaque. I've created space. I want it over here. Right? So subscribe. Right? Do South Africans hate other Africans? Question mark. That's the big conversation. Yeah. Hey, it's been a week and a half. Okay. I don't know what your algorithm is on, but that's why we are here on the Boxpod TV algorithm. Where South Africans? So what's been happening? There's an organization called Dudula. Dudula, I think in Zulu means, let me tell you all the Zulu I know. Dudula in Zulu means wena, get out, right? So South Africans have reached a place where they are tired of other immigrants, foreigners, let's call them foreigners from other African nationalities. Keyword here being African. If you are from Europe, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, Mars, the moon, you're on Artemis 2, you can go to South Africa. But if you are from another African country, stop. So they've been going door to door. Why don't they want Africans there? They're saying you're taking their jobs. You guys are coming with crime. You are just doing crime all over the place. You guys, on top of that, you are using their resources, healthcare, transport, housing, social services. That's all you are there to do. Did you know, by the way, I was being told by Doc that in South Africa, allegedly, you can go to a public hospital and give birth for free. Yeah? There are other African countries, they don't even have a hospital. They don't even give birth. And so they're going all the way to South Africa to give birth. And so South Africans are like, where don't we pay tax? What are you doing here? And then it reminded me, before you judge this words, that stand nani and a banana ball all the way at essay. You don't know that auntie of yours who, every time she's pregnant, she goes to the States to give birth. So she and her husband, they are Kenyan nationals, but the kids are all Americans. I'm not, Nakuru, don't feel attacked. I'm not talking about your governor Kihika. Si ye peke anazanga America. Anywho, so South Africans are tired. They're like, wewe ukono fikiri unakuja tu kuzalia hapa. Iyo taxi, iyo hospitali nani analipa. Oh, so they started their dudula. They're going door to door. Ebu nioneshe passport yako, visa. What are you doing here? Funga hii biashara. You think it's a joke? Run the tape.
Yeah, and we are not here for a visit. You are here to work.
No, leadership, listen to what he's saying. He's saying he was here for a visit. So how come you come here to visit instead of you going back?
Let's call the cops. This man is illegal in the country.
We're now with a traveling document, which is a passport.
Let's call the cops. He's illegal.
Imanla, we want them to understand what we are trying to do here. Baba, we are fixing this continent. This thing of you guys moving from one country to the other. It's no longer working.
This thing of you guys moving from one country to another, it's not working anymore. My friend, stay statue. inside your country. But then did you see the guy at the back there he's just teeth? He's just smiling like, yeah. I'm like, how many jobless South Africans are there? How many South Africans does it take to go and tell one guy, stop working here? You see, you're all now joblessly. Anyway, I'm not judging. I want you to be the judge of this, right? So wait first before I play for you. So this lady, she's called Victoria Africa, right? I know Africa is dead. Her parents don't know that she has her name, but let's just do what she's doing. And it's so funny she calls herself Africa, bitch. I think you need another name. You can't work with an alias that is taking people out of Africa, South Africa, other Africans, and then you call yourself Victoria Africa. Do you feel, what in the United States of America is going on here? You think South Africa is the only Africa? Anyway. So, Victoria Africa is part of Dudula, and she's one of the most vocal. If you think I'm lying, right? Watch her walk into someone's shop. Sa yo imagine uko South Africa. You're in your shop, kiosk umefungua hapo unangoja wateja. Alafu Victoria walks in with her homies na hivi ndio anakuambia.
It's not time. You are going to sell in your country. You are going to sell in your country. There's no time.
Take your money first. Take your money first. First take your money, hide it.
Yeah.
Please.
Take your money.
All your money.
On you.
Yes, all your money. Is that all?
There's no time for you.
Where's the other stock money?
We want boxes.
Where's the safe money?
Boxes. No.
There's no time for you.
Hey, help her now.
Okay. So you can get the gist. The guy is being kicked out of his shop. He's being told, carry your shit, get out of here. Now, these are the nice ones because there are others. I just don't want to show you violence. There are people who are being punched on the streets. There are people who are being dragged. There are people who are being kicked, right? And they are marching on the streets saying, I could play you, but then you don't understand South Africans. So basically they're saying, get out of our country, right? Now, one of the things they keep saying is that Africans who are in their country illegally are using their resources and not paying taxes. That's one of the biggest fallacies that has been spread.
Foreigners don't pay tax, so they shouldn't use our public hospitals. That lie gets repeated often, and some of you actually believe it. But this is just lazy propaganda. Foreigners do pay tax every single day. Every time a foreigner buys food or clothes, they are paying tax. It's called VAT. But when you tell xenophobes about this, they suddenly say, oh, but VAT doesn't count. If VAT doesn't count, then we should refund foreign nationals all the money.
Right. So for us here in Kenya, we call it VAT. VAT inakuanga 69. Sindio? What do you do? Anywho, so yeah, you have people here telling themselves that, you know what? The reason you don't have jobs, the reason you don't have house, the reason you cannot be able to go to hospital and give birth, it's not because you're a man, it's because they are immigrants who are taking your position, right? And they are not paying taxes. Of course, that's been debunked, but that isn't stopping them, right? So the question is, if you hopefully have this question, are they doing this to people from other parts of the world? Absolutely not. This is a preserve of Africans, okay? In VIP, man. If you're not African, you can't get in, right? So if you're an African in South Africa without a passport, without a visa, first we need to ask these people, where unaenda kwa country? No, this is a side note. I'll come back to you. So let me ask, you just moved to someone's country with a tourist visa, which has told you can be there for 30 days. And you just start working. Hey, you don't have embarrassment. You're waiting to be kicked out. Okay, cool. Anyway, let's carry on. So, are they kicking people from other countries, other continents, other parts of the world out of South Africa? Absolutely not. This one is for melanated. You have to be from the continent, right? You have to be from informal, like low income areas. You've got a kiosk, you're taking away jobs from South Africans. You're selling lollipops on the street. How dare you take jobs from South Africans? You're cleaning mirrors and cars in traffic. How dare you take those very important jobs from South Africans? You're trying to be watchman. What do you mean? Hairdresser, you're taking away jobs from South Africans. That's the logic, right? But if you're in a big office, you're running a big corporate company, right? you are allowed to be there. You are an investor. But these ones who are doing small odd jobs, you're an immigrant. That's the difference. But this also works for Europeans, Chinese, Arabs, and people from all other parts of the world, including aliens. I feel like people can come from Mars and enter South Africa before Zimbabweans. I'm being honest. So, why doesn't this happen? You have to remember that Africans, a lot of mental slavery has been going on for decades, centuries, right? It's the same way how when kids see Mzungu, right? I don't know kids in your neighborhood, whether they still do this. I don't know whether kids from Nairobi still do this, but like when Mzungu passes the neighborhood, all the kids start saying, Mzungu, Mzungu, Mzungu. They have to acknowledge, right? It's the same thing for Africans. You've been mentally colonized. So it's the same idea of, I don't know if you guys remember, last year, there was a Mzungu who was held in Kilifi or somewhere in the coast, right? And he was in a police station. Do you remember what happened? Run the tape.
Out of my office. Out of my office. Now, leave, 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 leave. Leave!
Yep. Mental slavery. This over decades has been unfolding. But it's not only that. There's also something about fixing your own home. And it's so important. You notice that all the videos they're saying, go back, go home, fix home, right? Fix home. I want you to think of a scenario of two people. One who's homeless. They don't have a home, they don't have a name, they're just. And then there's another person who they carry a big family name, right? Everywhere they go, people offer them food, people, treat them well because they're like, they come from somewhere. But the one who has nothing to their name are treated like that. I don't know if you're getting what I'm saying, right? That as much as they are the ones saying it, Africans, it's time to build home. Because when you go to other people's places, you're treated like Mexicans in America, my guy. You know what I'm saying? You know how illegal Mexicans are treated in America? That's how South Africans are treating Zimbabweans. They're treating their neighbors, Burundi, because they're like, y'all go fix your home, right? But they're not talking to Kenyans like that. I don't know if you're hearing what I'm saying. Nigerians, my brothers, Ghanaians, my brothers, my sisters, you all need to fix home. Because anywhere you go in the world, if you're, like we've been talking about this thing of, Kenya has a whole foreign policy. And I think it's even just a government policy, right? Go out there and look for jobs so that we are disrespected. So that we are told we stay home, we fix home. This is the same. You know how you usually ask, like, when you go to Europe and they're looking down at Africans. Do you know why? Because the only videos they see of Africa is not Expressway. You've seen that video of Crazy Kena when he's showing how Europeans are trying to, the video I'm talking about, yeah? Where when they're looking at where to record in Africa, they just look for the slum, right? That's what they have seen. So when they see you there, I don't care even if you are Sijui, the CEO of Sijui what, they look down upon you because they're like, what's this monkey doing here? Go and fix your treehouse. Because they can't even fathom that we have expressways. And honestly, I don't even think it's racism. I just think that's how human beings perceive other humans. It's like, which is not a good thing. Right? So here, South Africans have reached this place where they are tired of other Africans because let's call a spade a spade. It's other Africans. By the note, as we are talking about this issue, hey, have you been following the corruption cases in South Africa? Woo-hoo-hoo. I don't even want to get into them, but they're crazy. They're crazy. Billions stolen for medicine, there's a what, just things stolen left, right, and center. But that's not what's causing lack of jobs in South Africa. No, it's the 4 Burundians who are making sausages in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? Guys, that's why we say xenophobia, right? Now, you know me, I'm not going to call the whole country xenophobic. Is this how every South African feels? Is this how all South Africans are just like, we are tired. These Kenyans or these Nigerians or these whoever are taking too much of our resources. They need to go back home. Is this how every South African feels? Absolutely not. It's not. But guess what? Bad news travels faster than good news. So there are voices out there who are saying, guys, this is wrong. Guys, we shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, I saw an interview of Caspar Nyovest, the artist, who came out and said, my guy, kwanza me, I'm half Namibian. Yeah? I have family in Zim, right? But they're here saying, you kwanza Nadia Nakai. This is Victoria, babe. She's like, Nadia Nakai, you are Zimbabwean here just pretending, get out of our country. Can you imagine? Right? But this is not what all South Africans think. Bad news travels faster than good news, right? So all over the world. Now, what I've seen online is that these clips, a lot of them are not verified. Some of them are not even from this year. Some of them are not even from this week, but they are being lumped together. Why? Because the algorithm is clearly trying to create a narrative. And that's unfortunately what happens. A few elements have decided to do a bad thing, and then the narrative now is just, this is all of South Africa. This is what South Africans think. This is what they want. Okay. So let's be clear. This is not what all South Africans want. Are South Africans the first African country that has woken up and just said, you know what? We kind of don't want you here. Get the fuck out, right? No, my guy, even before there was a South Africa, sit down. Let me educate you. There was a country called Ghana, right? Because, they were the first ones to get independence. If you didn't know, now you know. Ethiopia did not get colonized. So Ghana is over there. They're garnering things. They're bringing cocoa together. They're selling, countries looking hot. So immigrants start piling up. Because when things are hot, things are good, they're beautiful. And the rest of us, we're still living in mud huts. My guy, we're coming to your country to figure shit out. So they come to the country. Country starts getting piled up. Then cocoa collapses. And then now, around the world, cocoa prices have gone down. And so now Ghana is not necessarily making as much money as it was initially. And what do politicians do when they have no one to blame? They blame immigrants. So the president woke up one day and he said, you know what? We're giving you 2 weeks. Ngapi? 14 days. Fuck out of our country. You're cooling our resources. Wewe unasikia hata tuna pesa ya kula chakula, wewe unafikiri tuko na ya mgeni. Get fuck out. People were told to get out. They left. Haya. That was Ghana. I think in their minds they were thinking, this is going to be our situation forever. Hao wengine wamesora. Hule huko amesora, kumbe amefika Minnesota. Kidogo, Nigeria is here digging, what do they find? Oil. Wewe uko na cocoa na mimi niko na oil. Ebu weke huko kwa gari tukiona isonge. Ebu build that nation with cocoa. So what do? Kidogo Nigeria starts looking like a sparkling new thingy-magic over there. Ghanaians are like, my guy, we're going to that country. So they go, they jazza. Ghanaians were everywhere. And not only Ghanaians, but Ghanaians were a big chunk of them. I think they were like 60%. And then there was Beninois. Yeah, people from Benin. There was people from Ivory Coast. There's people from different parts of West Africa. Of course, things got to where they did. And what do politicians do when things get to where they did? They turn to the immigrants. They're like, my guy, nawapatia 14 days. 14! Sitaki kujua kama uko na biashara. Sitaki kujua kama sijui mahindi hazijaiva, haujafanya harvest bado. Nobody gives a fuck. Get the fuck out of the country, 2 weeks. Sitaki kusikia ati hauna truck. The lorry has not come. That's none of our business. Get out. Ati haujauza vitu. Nani amekuuliza? And so guys had to leave just like that, right? Now here's, what do we learn from this scenario, right? That things go up and down. And by the way, that story for Ghana leaving Nigeria, that's where the Ghana must go bag came from. If you don't know what the Ghana must go bag, producer, wake your bag up. This bag in West Africa is called Ghana must go. Because there's, what walikuwa naweka, unaweka hata meza, kiti, weka ndani, like everything. You know how you see these trucks for these buses that are going to Western in December? Na onyi lazima ende na familia yote amebeba paka meza na kiti. Kwa sababu nyumba hata ajui kama itakuwa itademolishiwa akikuwa ushago. Right? That's how you're just seeing trucks with, na hiyo Ghana must go wamebeba paka nini kuka hapo ndani. It was crazy. Right? And you know it's a strong bag. Anyway, so that's why you should be friends. This is a lesson for South Africans. Today, it looks like South Africa is the most buzzing. You guys do know we've started building expressways. As we're going to be the next South Africa, you know, at this rate at which you guys are going, nobody will want to come and build with you in there, right? Anywho. So, What I worry is that Ghanaians have started to reciprocate. Imagine we're here, Kenyans, we are seated here at home, and then you're watching at South Africans, they are telling Kenyans, get out of the country. What do you think Kenyans would do? When we surround, let's imagine that. You see the video I showed you of Victoria surrounding the Ghanaian guy and telling me, you need to go back and build your country. What do you think Kenyans would have done in that scenario? Online, fast. Tungesalimia odem marangapi. Saisi angekuwa sha block your account. But the truth is, right? The reciprocation would happen. It's not possible for you to see your brothers being dhulumiwad, being disrespected in another country, and you don't do something about it. So that's what Ghanaians have done. There's a group calling themselves the Youth Alliance, Ghanaian Youth Alliance. And this is what they have to say. Run the tape.
So we want to fix our country. So we want all the foreigners to leave. They should also go and fix their country. We are tired of them. They have taken our return. They are doing drugs. Now the youth are taking drugs. Prostitution. They are doing a whole lot. And so we are sick and tired. So we are talking to our president that we are pleading with him. We cannot stay here with kidnappers. We cannot stay here with prostitutes. Now the country have turned to something else. Ghanaians, we are not like that. We were not raised like that. So we are tired of Nigerians. They should go back to their country and fix their country. This is the last peaceful work we are doing. The next one is going to be something else.
So Ghanaians are reciprocating. Ghanaians in Ghana are also saying that foreign nationals should leave. This movement that officially started in America with Ice Baby has now spread to other parts of the world. Like, if you check Europe, there's these concerns happening. They're saying they don't want immigration. They don't want immigrants. And again, even them, they're talking about Africans. America pia wao wanaongea juu ya nani? Africans, right? And then South Africa is also talking about Africans. Well, Ghanaians are also talking about Africans. They don't want them. Like, Africans, listen to me. Listen. Please fix your country. There's no part of the world where there's an African who's saying, not even in Africa, who's saying, I can't wait to have these African nationals here. Are you hearing me? Unless you're playing football and you're going back to your country. And I need to say that because Eritreans, do you ever go back to your country? Like, there was a football match that happened, right? I think it was in South Africa. UEFA something championship. Just last month. And Eritrea was one of the teams that was participating. They arrived there, played, and stayed. Disappeared. So I get it, right? But Ghana has also started. Soon you're going to hear another country has also woken up and said that they don't want foreign nationals there. African foreign nationals. Which other country do you think? I think Kenya. Now hear me. When we talk xenophobia, guys think it's a South African thing, right? But let's understand the psyche underneath there. What's driving this nonsense? Of course, it's public. It's wrong perception. Someone is creating or driving this narrative that, you see, your problems begin with this foreigner. Now, let's come back home. Let's think about Kenya, right? If you say that South Africans are the ones who are xenophobic, I would say Kenyans are also. There's some undercurrents boiling underneath there. For example, South Sudanese. They tell you their stories of their experiences here in Kenya. Even just the jokes that go down, right? If you live in a place where there's many South Sudanese, go and hear the narrative that's happening over there. Somalis. Even just the other day, the president said that they're opening the border between Kenya and Somalia. And guys like, sasa watakuwa wanapata ID. Yeah. If you're a Kenyan national, you should get an ID. Ama unafikiri wakisi pekee ndio wanafaa kupata ID? You get what I'm saying? Haya, tujamaliza. Watu wa Huruma, Kariobangi, nasikia tu sasa shida ni wa Burundi. Wewe umeshikilia bangi, yeye anashikilia smoke na kuzia ndio hiyo nini teremke fiti. They are just the ones who are doing all those small businesses in your neighborhood. Nasikia hoka hapo kwa neighborhood yenu ule mari kwa mari squeeze anasemanga na French. Kwa sababu ni Burundian. Right? And guys are complaining, ma Burundi nasikia, Congolese, hairdressing, barber shop. Sasa unataka compete onyi hata ujui kushikilia nini makasi. Unataka kuna mtu wa Kongo anafanya hiyo kitu na kuimbia at the same time. Aki wine waste. Right? Right? But you're hearing the narratives. Let me give you a perfect example. Hata sijasema juu ya Nigeria. Sijasema juu ya Nigeria. The other day there was a Sierra Leone babe who was found in a house deep in LD. Hana visa. She was pelekwa at court. She's being asked what happened. She said she came here to Kenya and she fell in love with a Kenyan. Clearly, what are you doing in LD deep inside an estate? Right? But anyway, all these things are happening. They're happening. Kenyans are just like, no, us we're welcoming, us we are good, but it starts like that. It just starts with those undercurrents and perception that you see these people, they're taking something away from us. You see these people, they're taking something away from us. You see Nigerians. 2024 was the year. I was on radio. Niko hapo tu nachapa shughuli zangu. The next thing, there was a 2 days before, there was a story of a lady who had been murdered, right? So me, and the suspect, the only person of interest was a Nigerian. Not even suspect, person of interest. So me, I'm there. I play a Nigerian song. I think it was like Whiskey or David or someone. And I was like, oh, this song slaps. I know you guys are not feeling Nigerians right now, but this song is... Guys wanted to have me even fired. You guys were even calling Communications Authority of Kenya. Who dem anafa kutoka kwa hiyo radio? I'm telling you, there was over 10,000 complaints to CAK. Over what? Oh, you are a Nigeria lover. That's literally was my mistake. I love Nigerians. I trended for 3 days. I was trending even in Nigeria. As we speak right now, 2 years later, that person of interest is not even a person of interest in the case anymore. Right? And note, the question I was asking was that, how many Kenyans have murdered people? Even just today, there was a story of a babe who has been thrown off a balcony or something like that, right? There was no Nigerian involved. I'm not seeing Kenyans going on the street saying Kisis are murderers or Ethiopia or Luyas are murderers. It was just, there was something that just resonated with the idea that a Nigerian, where's my stones? Put them in the bag. We're going to fucking stone this motherfucker. And that's what happened. For 3 days, I was being skilleted. You know? Why? Because it was an opportunity. Because, let's be honest, as we're watching South Africa, it looks like, hey, these people, they're not educated. Hey, they are just lazy. Those are the comments online, right? It's easy to say that. But you see, it starts with the perception. It starts with the idea that these people, them, they want to take from us. And before you know it, so all I'm saying, at the end of the day, is Africa unity a thing that can really happen? Truly, truly, really. You know that we were saying we remove our borders, because we're always complaining that a young person in Kenya has great ideas, but cannot take them to, only has to work with the market here within. Yeah? And that can't work. We need the market to be open. We need to be able to know that you're selling a product and you can be able to sell it to Tanzanians, Ugandans, you know? That's the only way we can win. And we know that the continent has, by 2100, this is the continent that will have the most youth. Like, he continent are 270%. So right, as we're speaking right now, it's what? We're talking about 70% under 20. Right? If we are closing the borders even tighter, what are we doing? Are we going to be able to achieve that freedom that we're talking about? Or are we going to be subservient to people who are going to achieve that freedom for themselves? What am I talking about? As South Africans are fighting us, they're allowing other people, foreign nationals, to work in their country, right? In fact, it's looking also obvious that for any African, you shouldn't bother going to South Africa, right? Whatever taxes we wanted, whatever tourism we wanted to bring to South Africa, whatever we wanted to educate our kids there, yeah, whatever business we wanted to come set up there, you say, no, let's go set up somewhere else where we are wanted, right? But this is not just a South Africa problem. Your country could also be like this. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. I know we say, oh, us, we are welcoming of tourists. Tourists are not the same as people who are coming to stay in your country. Tourists are coming and going, right? So who has a problem with someone who's visiting and leaving? Nobody. But someone who's coming to now set up shop next door, right? Your country, how many people, like your next door neighbor, is a foreigner? Before you can say, these people are xenophobic, these people hate foreigners, I want to ask you, in your country, can you find a foreigner hawking in a space or doing a job that would not necessarily be what you'd see a foreigner coming to do? Right? It's not like they're coming for an office job or to provide a service that nobody in your country can provide. It's just like they've come and set up a barber shop in your neighborhood, right? And there's many of them. Before you say that these people are not welcoming, your country, is it welcoming? Because there are some countries which are very homogeneous. How is it you can barely find any people from other countries? And they're the first ones to say, these ones, they don't like other people. Your country, do they like people? Or better yet, do people like your country? Anyway, I want to ask you, from everything that I've said, do you see the potential of Africa unity with the way we are moving? I think the only way this can be achieved is, pardon my French, I'm about to be profane, but the fucking Africa Union, right, is letting us down. I looked to see what they are saying about this particular issue in South Africa. They're quite mum, right? This is not a stop doing that thing. This is a perception. So is Africa unity really achievable if our presidents are doing this? In the blue corner, weighing, I don't know, guy's short and he looks really weakly and sickly. From Nigeria, here's President Tinubu.
Yes, I hear you. From various angles of the economy, the fuel prices is biting hard. But look around, let's just thank God together that you are better off. Listen to them in Kenya, in other African countries, what they are going through.
Yep. Apparently, Kenya doesn't have fuel. And kind of, it was like a bit of a snide remark to Kenyans. Not that hectic, but Kenyans, hapa hatuwezi shindwa. In the blue corner, red corner, weighing, the guy has lost a lot of weight though, so I don't know what he weighs right now. This is what he had to say in response for Kenyans. Run the tape.
Now, our education is good. Our English is good. Yes, we speak some of the best English in the world. Yeah, that is true. If you listen to a Nigerian speaking, you don't know what. You don't know. You need a translator. Even when they are speaking English, Ama.
And there you have it. Apparently, we can't hear anything Nigerians are talking. So you can imagine when you are playing in those political rallies and you're playing West African music, you're playing Wizkid. In the president's head, he's just saying, wah, 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 wah. Hakuna kitu anaelewa. Like, he know, chop cassava. Woi, kwani wanakulanga cassava sangapi? Chop banana na watu wanakuanga healthy. Like, he's not understanding nada. Anyway. I just pray that he doesn't ask another president to come to Kenya to chop bananas. If your cousin was taken to Russia to work under false pretenses, come here to the front. Hey, guys, do you know how many Kenyans have been shipped off to Russia? We've been talking about this story and you're just thinking that it's just 5 or 10 people. Wow, we've reached thousands. They're in the 1,000, right? So there was a protest that was done where Kenyan parents are asking and families are like, please bring our people back home. So much so that Russia has said, look, we'll help in bringing them back. But what I found out, look at this mother talking about how her son was lured to work in Russia. Unajua kwa sababu, there are some of us who are staying like, how? Mtu anipeleke ni fight army na nisijue how? Run the tape.
We go.
He was taken there by an agent telling him that he's going to be a driver. When he reached there, he told us that he has been deployed to the military.
I don't know if you heard. Mtu anaenda job ya driver, akajipata military. So all I'm telling you guys, yeah, is this story where we are being told, go out there and look for jobs. Don't. Lakini mseme mimi ndo nimwambia. I'm just telling you that if you can imagine someone has signed a document saying that they are going to Russia to be a driver. Hey, but let's be honest. Real talk. Wewe, uko na aspirations za kwenda Russia kufanya job? We'll put the answer there in the comment section. I want to know. Anyway, that's what's happening. If you are looking for, somebody has hollered at you, there's a job opportunity in Russia, I need you to think again and again and again and again and again and again before you leave this country, because you never know. Hiya. My guys, you know how cancer nowadays has become like, it's common. Think about it. Do you know someone right now who's living with cancer? Raise your hand if you know someone who's living with cancer. Okay. Apparently, there's a county, they are leading, right? Kenyatta Hospital, allegedly, the highest number of cancer patients is from Meru. This Toro, you know, when I saw it, you know, me as we are, I don't want to say conspiracy theorists, but like, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I want to screw back before I give you run the tape. So, you know how like countries can decide they're dumping stuff, right? You know, Kenya is a dumping site, yeah? It depends on what your government is accepting. So for example, like, you know, these machines you're using, computers, nini. When you're done with them, so you just go buy another machine. Cindy, where, with the old one, those parts, where do they go? Sawa, that guy will remove the gold. There are those guys who are removing gold from the machine. But then the rest of the things that back here, which is like now this whole thing, where does it go? Right? Now, do you know that there are countries, because to dispose of this machine, it really costs a lot of money. Disposing of trash costs a lot of money. So the countries that are situated like this, they're like, hey, my guy, we have like 330 tons of these two electrical machines, hardware. Where do we peleka them? Incinerating these things. Guy, the environmentalists will come for us. Higher. So what do we do? Ding! I have an idea. Why don't we go dump them in another country? How are we going to do this? How will they know? They will not know. How will they know? They will not know. We'll just ask them. So then you go to that country, you say, yo, me, I got 30 tons of trash. I'll jenga for you guys at school. Sawa. And then we work at school, and then the trash comes to your country. Now, I know right there is where you're thinking, hey, but us guys, we don't know how to get rid of it. Exactly. So where does that shit end? Enter Onyango downtown. It's going to I don't know whether you've seen those guys who are spray painting even the machine. You put out these things are being spray painted in Tao. You guys, you're going to buy that thing at Jioni. You're like, hey, machines nowadays are how cheap. But then you're also going to use it and then it's going to die. So somehow it's going to end up back as trash. So we basically bought off someone's trash, used it for a bit, and now it's going to be trash. Now I want you to think of electronics. I want you to think of clothes. Najua hiyo look yenye umechapa kutoka come. Unaona hiyo look yenye umechapa from juu to chini. You need trash. Kuna country to get rid of that trash. Walijua mazi they can't incinerate it, costs a lot of money, so it's better off to ship it. 1 month's trash is another month's clothing. Sijui kama unaniget. We paka ngodha, we unafaa kujirespect. So that's what's happening. But you know, on things like electronics, clothes, you know, even food. By the way, guys, even food. I'm telling you, even food. Let me explain, right? So a company makes food. Let's imagine they make biscuits, right? They make a shitload of biscuits. Because, you know, if you're a company, you're not making 1 or 2 biscuits. You're making, you know, a lot of biscuits. Then you make these biscuits. Then the person in the country you're going to tell them to say, hey, hii ni blue band umeka kwa hii kitu. Hii country tumeban blue band, bro. Hii kitu haiwezi kuwa na hizi mamajarin, my guy. So now you have ukona stock. What are you going to do? Utatupa hizi vitu? Pana. Utatafuta ile country yenye haina standards. Sindio? So your country ndo unaingia nayo, unarepackage hiyo kitu unaita something else. And then you come. So wewe hapo unakula unasema, ushaisikia biskiti iko free? Mingia kwa duka hapo nani ameniambia buy one get everything else free. Nasema shit. Na hizi biscuits zimejaa all of a sudden kila pahali ni free ni hizo, they've been dumped, right? So yeah, so everything gets dumped. One country refuses and now and kubalis, right? So even what are they called? Is it toxic substances? So imagine hapo industrial area wanatengeneza sijui vikombe, right? But then the after sludge that comes out is some toxic stuff. So amekaa hapo amejiangalia anasema ule msee wetu mwenye wote kitrash anaweza chukua hizi vitu, acha nimpigie. Anasema let me call Kenya +254 ati and some hydraulic. As guys, we love that thing. Later you give me, I have a place out behind here we can wake up. So allegedly, now this is where the story kicks off. This is a former insider man for Moi, right? This guy is sitting on a podcast 2 years ago, 3 years ago, telling us this story. And he sitting there saying, my guy, me have checked it, I'm seeing at Tisijui, there's some project that was being done in somewhere in Meru, right? And they're looking at this thing and it's like, this guy said they were digging Sijui holes for Sijui putting a construction for what? But it turns out they're dumping some toxic waste there. This guy has this thing, he can be asked to Moi's office. Daddy, angalia. Hao watu wanataka. Imagine daddy. Daddy akamwambia, ulipata hii kitu wapi? Huh? Hii dog, ebu kaa chini kwanza. Ebu mpatie. Umekunywa juice? Shule ilikuwaje leo? Ulikuwa fiti? Letea ya juice. Unataka nini? Nikununulie PS5. Endo nikununulie PS5. Basically, he found out that you think unasema kitu na kumbe hiyo kitu unasema inajulikana already. It means alikuwa anajua. It means it's a deal. Right? Now why have I taken you on that long tangent? Maybe if you've not skipped, hebu jinunulie soda. Yeah? So this is what happened. In Meru, allegedly, right? This is a doctor who's sharing a TikTok saying what is happening. Well, she's not a doctor. This is a lady sharing what is happening in Kenyatta Hospital. Skiza. Run the tape.
Number of cancer patients in Kenyatta National Hospital are from Meru County. This is 15% of the cancer patients in Kenyatta National Hospital, both men and women. Men are being treated for stomach cancer and prostate cancer, and women are being treated for breast and cervical cancer. Obviously, there are many other types of cancer that these patients are being treated for, but those ones are the major types of cancer. Now let's break it down. Why are there so many people in Meru County that are suffering from cancer? In some families, it's actually more than one person.
More than one person. One family. Hey, there are people who are going through it in this country. Man, if this is you, pole sana. But this is what I want to ask, right? I think we need to be serious as a nation, Ama. Yeah. Guys, treatment of cancer is not cheap. It's not. It's not cheap at all. Am I saying it's because of that toxic sludge that was required there? No, I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying this is a conspiracy theory. Even though tulisikia. Now, there's an episode I did here around the tape where I told guys, in fact, if you don't know about it, we are tagging it here. It's called We Need to Rethink What We Eat, right? And in this episode, I spoke about all the things that, apparently smokies. But if you're still eating smoky waste, sasa wewe inakaa ugongewe kansa yako mbili hapo, right? Wamesema hii kitu ni carcinogenic. As you are eating one smoking, you might ishikilie hivi kasigara kwa sababu unavuta sigara. It's just the same thing as smoking, right? So I finished that episode, and one of the guys in the studio, he came to me and he shared and he said, you know what? This makes sense. Because in Meru, where us guys, we have a farm and we are planting jaba. Na hii story si ya jaba, by the way, ni true story. Apparently, because you don't want ati wadudu wakule the jaba, what do? You spray. Now, you're spraying directly to the leaves. You're not injecting that thing. You're spraying directly to the leaves. Watu wa jaba ukula nini? So wanakula hizo leaves. Now, Me, I tell guys, I've said it here I think 6 million times. Usikule jaba kama hujaiosha. Watu wanacheka. Unawezaje wewe kwa box ni aje? Mtu anakulaje jaba ati umeosha? Nasema take your jaba. Weka kwa basin warm. Weka nini yako hapo, right? Jaba yako. Ndio whatever pesticide iko juu ya hizo leaves itoke. Take it again. Weka tena. Kama hiyo kitu na ile product yenye unatumia kwa fruits, yeah? Alafu kula. Tunaambia hizo ndio gani? Yes, leo utakuwa hapo Kenyatta unafanywa stomach cancer. Utawachi episode na utasema shit. Where does this shit sound familiar? Kwambox told me. Farmers, they do these things and they don't put a warning label. Jaba inakuja. Ushaijuliza why the driver is in such a hurry to bring that thing for you to eat? Because he doesn't want the goddamn pesticide itoke kwa hiyo kitu. Because, I mean, seriously, why are you... Anyway, unajua, it's better to have the information. Whatever you do with it is your business. Now, am I saying that Meru cancer is being caused from Jaba? No. Am I saying 15% is a big number for just one county and there's 47 counties? God damn, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shit. You have a quarter of the number of the cases for the country. Na najua mtu atasema kuna counties zingine hawaendangi hospitali. Nobody has said, please stop. Right? This is the biggest hospital in Kenya. And 15% wanasema of the cases of cancer ni za Wameru. Right? Si za Wameru ni watu wa kutoka Meru County. Right? So something needs to be investigated there because I've told you 2 conspiracies that I've had from that side. Not conspiracies. These are things that they were alleged facts. Right? Somehow, they must be involved. So that's what. You tell me what you think is going on. How can one county have a quarter of the number of cancer patients in the hospital? Isn't that scary? You're scaring at one family has more than 2 patients, has 2 patients with cancer. I saw a story of a father and a son. Wako na cancer pamoja. Maze. Pole. That's a sad story. Anyway, next story. All right, gig economy. I guess most young people are in the gig economy. If you don't know what gig economy is, basically you don't have a stable job. You don't have a job, but you get odd jobs too in the field of work that you do. So let's say if you're a videographer, you can be able to have more than one client rather than work in a specific company. So there's benefits to gig economy, right? You can choose to get a job. And because you're getting a salary, it cuts out what you'd be earning if you're in gig economy, right? So, but then gig economy, you can go 3 months, you haven't done any job. Sindio? Like, let's be real. Watu wa gig economy hapa wanaumia sana hapa nje. 1 month unaona mtu ameng'ara, ananulia mtu drinks kwa club, baka anasema, ati you guys, what? Mtu hii ako fiti cheki. Anakutolea pesa cash hapa hata na account hivi. Huh? Because shit, amelipwa in cash. Right? Next month, hata wiz brush meno. Ako ho he ha he. Things are bad. Gig economy, that's how it is. It's like nipata potea. It's like gambling, right? So when you get a job, when you get a customer, or maybe should I speak to the customers? No, let me speak to the gig economy guys. So let's imagine you are a carpenter or fundi wa nyumba. Let's imagine unafanyanga hizi nini? Gypsum. Mtu amekuambia kuja hapa Boxpod ututengeneze gypsum, tutengeneze mastingo tuweke hizi kitu nimesahau inaitwa sijui aje. Weke. You get there, you do the job, ikaifiti uangalie useme wow. Hiyo ni kazi yako, si ndio? Let's imagine huyo mtu decide mukosane. Mwanze kuargue hapo labda aseme sikulipi leo na kulipa next week. I'll pay you after 90 days. What's your gig economy? Mtu amekuambia I'll pay you after 90 days. What's your next move? Before you answer that, I'm going to show you what a Fundi did. After he has jengered this place, Tengenes had, and then they had an argument with the owner of the place. Run the tape. There you can see Fundi anabomoa kazi yake. Anatoboa, toboa left, toboa right. Toboa left, Toboa, right? And they're saying this, things turned messy when a Fundi took matters into his own hands over unpaid work. Now, here's my question. Is this the right thing to do? What would you do? You've done a job for someone, work, like especially if it's a craft, and then you guys have an argument for whatever reason, like maybe you're not understanding each other. What do you do? Do you destroy the work that you did? Like, let's imagine umejenga hii kikombe. Umejengea boxboard kikombe. And then umesema utatuuzia kikombe na 100. Alafu umeenda umetengeneza, alafu umesema, mimi nilisikia 1 bob. What are you going to do? Are you smashing this cup? I don't know. I saw this video and I was like, hey, uchali mazi hiyo ni short-sightedness sana. Kwa sababu ile kazi yenye ulifanya, you should have used that to market yourself and show other people, other customers that, look, this is what I do. Right? This is my personal belief. There's so many, how many times have I been conned in this city? Hata naambia nimekoniwa gari, nimeibiwa nyumba, nimeibiwa biashara, mtu yani left, right and center. But am I the kind of person to go, hata sale nilikuwa Miss Tourism, mtu akakuja akanidethrone, akaenda kaanza kuongea, and we're supposed to go to court. But there are some things you just say, you know what, hiyo lawama nimekuachia wewe. I'm going to use this opportunity to learn and move forward. But for me, I look at this scenario, I'm looking at this Fundi, this is the first time I'm interacting with him. Imagine if this guy had taken this video and recorded and told us the story. I did this work for this customer and then they refused to pay. But you know what? Nimemwachia. I'm looking for my next customer. If you want me to come do this for you, right? But please, I ask that you pay because I don't think I can survive someone else doing this to me. Tafadhali. You know how TikTok works. People love a story where the underdog amefanyiwa kitu mbaya. Guys would have in fact, sasa ungekuwa na construction company yako hata na hiyo inaitwaje hiyo grinder na vitu zote, right? You would have used that video of the work that you have done to market yourself. Now me, I'm landing on your work the first time, naona mashimo, naona hasira, naona sura yako, nasema sasa huyu anaitwaje? Huyu tusiwahi patana na yeye. Sasa everybody who's watching you, because even if fine umefanywa mbaya, but now even me who's going to meet you next, I'm like, huyu God forbid la tuseme M-Pesa iko down hiyo siku. Na nilikuwa nafaa kumlipa at the end of the day. Kutendaje? Huyu ni mtu hata unaweza ongea na yeye ama simu yako ikufe. Your phone dies the day you were supposed to send him the money. Na say you left, right, etc. The number is in that phone and you're like, God, I have to say, and you're working hard, umepeleka simu kwa fundi. By the time you switch on your phone, everything has gone shagala bagala. Hey! I don't know. To me, this seems like hasara. And the hasara is on you. You, the person who's destroying your own hard and work. Ingekuwa kitu yenye at least umefanya na machine, I can understand. Lakini na kichwa na mkono yako. Umesweat paka kila time una raise mkono hivi unanusa tu ampiti yako. Jasho yatirika inateremka paka kwa mdomo. And you then go and use more energy. Unatumia hasira. Unajua kwanza sale mtu wako na hasira na kuangana your body is working even more. You've used more energy to I don't know, guys. Hit me up in the comment section because to me this seems like they would hasira. You know, now the guy is sitting at home just say, umeona video yangu mazeni libomoa. Who's going to hire you? I don't know. Hit me up. I want to see your comments on this. Now, to our last and final story. Whew. This one I give it to Gen Z, right? So there's a lady and she's at her loved one's funeral. I think her mom or her auntie or someone, right? And she decides to take this moment to give her real honest opinions about her family and friends of the person who had died. And this is what she had to say. And this question I want to ask. You know how we say that Gen Z hawakwangi na filter?
Nimwambia, enda tu usiku kwanza upime uangalie. Kaniambia, mama, nitaenda na niangalie. Nitaenda. Hivyo ndio alikuwa ananiita, mama, nitashughulikia. Akaenda usiku. Hakuna mtu mmoja alienda kushughulika hata. Ajue hali yake iko aje? Anaendelea aje? Ni mzima. Like, afya yake iko aje? Hakuna hata mtu mmoja alienda kumuona. No, I will talk. John, mtaki kuambiwa ukweli. Alikuwa hosi. Ni watu wangapi walishughulika juu ya matibabu yake? Sasa hizo tunang'ang'ana ni mimi, Karo, Mili na Pamela. Tunashughulika venye anatibiwa. Wanahitaji, lakini at least kungekuwa na support ile ya wacha tuende tumuone. Yes, hakuna financial support, but tunaenda kumuona. Nyamaza. Ingekuwa ile mnaenda hata muone, hata angalau unajua ile mtu akiwa nini anahitaji tu kukuona peke yake, ana feel vizuri. But ingekuwa hivyo
Ongea.
Kwa mnashuka court mnapendana. Lakini mtu akiwa kwa shida na ni ndugu yenu wa damu. Amshughuliki. Amekufa ndio mtaprepare vizuri. Sasa simnaona venye nini yake iko vizuri sahihi. Lakini I wish ingekuwa ombi yake ya kwanza yenye mngemshughulikia at least angepona. Sasa angekuwa at least ingekuwa baada kwa life. Angeishi another bonus.
Okay. There's the girl at the funeral. Not after, not later when things at the funeral. You know, when the body is going down and now it's a chance to say something. And she takes the microphone and says, basically, let me paraphrase for our foreign nationals, fuck you and fuck you too. You ain't shit, you ain't shit, you ain't shit, y'all ain't shit. Right? You all out here acting like you love the person, you're coming for the funeral, but when they were alive, you weren't showing up. You never even went to visit them in the hospital, right? Ooh, you know, the kind of stuff that Africans usually want to say, but they say kimoyo chini chini, right? Like, you know, usually most of the time when you're seeing like the family mourning, to be honest, part of the reason why they're sad is because you're there. Because they're like, fuck this person. You, because even you used to give my parent grief. Used to give my person ulcers. Now you're over here. Oh, I can't believe it. Kwa box ameenda. Huh? Na wewe kwanza ndio ulikuwa the last message alikutumia alikwambia yo, I need someone to talk to. Now, as much as I love this scenario, I brought it because I saw another angle, right? I mean, I just recently buried my brother. And I totally understand these sentiments. You know, you're there in the space, you're thinking that the support you're going to get, the kind of support that you're going to get when you're going through something, it doesn't turn out the way you're expecting. You're like, how is this person not coming through for me? How is that person not even coming to visit? How is that person not coming for the funeral? It's easy to be annoyed, angry, and mpaka unaekea mtu wanted. It's easy. But you see me, I'm an adult. And I'm not saying this that there's other people who are not adults. Why I'm saying this is because I've learned to take responsibility for my feelings and my thoughts. So as I feel that type of way, I also have to ask myself, how am I coming through for other people? Right? You know what I've realized in this life? Life, watu tuko busy. Kila mtu ako busy. Right? You're going through something. You're expecting so-and-so, my cousin, my neighbor, my friend, my auntie, they're the ones who should be here, right? But they also have something that they are going through. They also have their thing that they are going through. I mean, granted, there are some bitches and bastards out there who we are related to. No, it's true. Some people who are honestly like, na vitu mbaya zifanyikiangi hao, wao wanakuanga firi, halafu they are the ones you are depending on that they just never show up, right? Yeah, let's be honest. There are people who honestly them, yani at a judgment day, ukiona tu Jesus utapoint. Anzie huyo. How? Yeah, we know those ones. Those are not the ones we're talking about. We're talking about people who we love and care about, but life is so difficult. Let me ask you a question. Are you finding there's a phenomenon of people nowadays, like you text, and they just don't respond? Completely. Okay, you could be the person I'm talking about. It's okay. No judgment. Right? And then you text and tell people, oh man, I'm so sorry I didn't see your text. You know, I'm not usually on my phone. I'm not a texter. Lakini bloody fucking tunakuona online, umescroll the whole night. Tunakuona online. I can see you. You're online. I'm not judging you. I'm the person we're talking about. I don't respond to texts, right? And I started to realize that before I was responding, like before I just never used to like text, but now it's become almost chronic. Like the response time is between 72 to 156 hours, right? Why? It's not that I don't want to respond to you. Life is happening. There are so many emotions I'm carrying in a day, right? So I might not even be there for you the way you want me to. And so don't fault me for that. You can be annoyed, you can be angry, you can be sad. I didn't show up. Like this girl, you can see she's sad. She's like, you guys weren't there. When we were hustling, we're taking the person left, right, and center. As you're being hard on other people, if you look at, because ukiangalia venye economy iko right now in Kenya, I've not met a single person who's not saying that they are, the economy is being tight on them. Whether it's people in business, whether it's people who are jobless, whether it's there's also these people who are having a tough time getting out of their beds. I don't want to call it a new form of depression, right? Where you're working from home, there's nobody calling you anywhere, you don't need to be with anyone, and so you're finding it difficult even to get out of bed. I've been there. Last year, I experienced it, right? And even today, I still find myself having to tell myself, no, here, umekuwa, open your mouth, go and talk to someone, right? Why? Because I know slowly you can find yourself, you have gone into a different space, right? So with all that I've said, let's go back to this girl who's on a podium and she's feeling let down. She's feeling disappointed. She's feeling, all sorts of things, right? And like we say, Gen Z, I don't want to say Gen Z. I don't want to call it a Gen Z trait. I want to call it a youth trait. When you're young, you kind of say what you're feeling. Let's be honest, millennials, we didn't have this kind of freedom. We're seeing it with Gen Z. Because usually this one, we just go and discuss you in our homes. Unaona venye amekuja hapo kwanza kusema ati pole, ngenge. Na hata hakukua mwenye amelia machozi mingi hata hajaiona huyo mtu. Hajai kuja kumtembelea. Salia alisikia ni mgonjwa hata kuja kuvisit. You understand? But Gen Z are saying it out loud. But this is all I'm going to say. The moment you want to judge someone or you want to feel, because this is the world we're living in right now. Oh, I can't believe Nani didn't come through for me. Even with friendships, I'm seeing it. You're cutting off people because they didn't come for your birthday or because they were, and you don't ask yourself, can I please find out why this person is not able to participate in the things that I want them to participate? Like, put yourself aside and first find out what's going on with that person and give them grace. Give them room. You could have a conversation with them and it didn't pan out the way you want, right? Yeah, and know that we're all going through things. And also examine yourself. Because when I wanted to be so hard on people in my life, when you're going through something and you're like, why isn't so-and-so coming through for me? Or why isn't so-and-so? I first asked myself, how many times have I tried to reach out to so-and-so to find out what's going on in their lives? When's the last time we sat down and we talked and I knew actually Nani is okay? Not ati nimemwona online. There are people who tell me, hey, I know you're okay because I see you online. Bitch, you don't know shit. Shut the fuck up. Just say you don't want to be my friend. No, I'm kidding. But these are real conversations. So to the girl, you are most 100%, it's your right to say whatever you want to say, right? But in the same breath, we also have to ask ourselves, you could be judging someone who's people are going through things here, having silent battles that nobody knows. Nobody. Like even the fact that they're not calling you, they're not picking up the phone to talk to you, don't be like, hey, nani ameenda quiet siku hizi, sawa, if they're not investing in this friendship, basi wacha nimcut off. I know there's some guys who talk like that as well, so it's both men and women, right? But reach out. Find out. Be there for them. They could be quiet because they're going through things. Or they could be quiet because they're cutting you off. But don't necessarily make it about you. Because even in your life, is it about them? Kapow.